officials from all 8 Ulster County school districts recently spoke at a forum held at Ulster BOCES in New Paltz. They were sending out a call for unity in helping to repeal the Gap Elimination Adjustment, also known as the GEA. The GEA was a bill introduced in 2010 by former Governor David Paterson to help close the state budget deficit. This is where funds were skimmed from aid originally allotted to school districts and used to help fill the state revenue shortfall. This bill is still on the books today and has had a crippling effect on our local school districts.
It's resulted in, millions of dollars of lost revenue to the local districts. One could understand continuing to do it if the deficit was still in existence. The state's projected to have a very significant surplus this year, and the surplus will continue to grow for the next 4 years.
The problem? School districts are limited in how they obtain revenue.
State aid is one of the major revenue sources. Local taxes is a second revenue source. Those two revenue sources together probably account for 90% of the money coming into a school district, 90 to 95%. So now you're saying, okay, you can't raise your local taxes by more than 2% or less, so that's going to be constrained. And oh, by the way, here's the state aid you're supposed to get, but we're going to take away $1 million because we have to close this mythical gap in our funding, which existed back 7 years ago but doesn't exist today.
To live within their means, many school districts are now working near bare-bone levels in services and in programs.
Well, since the GEA's inception, we have reduced our staffing by 18.1 positions, which may not sound like a lot, but for a district of our size, it's significant.
Unfortunately, over the last 5 years, we lost over $10 million and impacted over a 5-year period rather, anything and everything across the board academically. Every single one of my departments were cut.
Well, over the last 5 years, we've lost $16 million, resulting in 38 positions being lost.
It has caused us to make really disastrous cuts. Like, we've lost an entire program, our pre-K program. And we've also had losses to our teachers, which have increased our class sizes. So our class sizes are now up to 27 in the elementary level, and they are even up to 30 in our middle school. And this goes counter to even like the data and the research which says that lower class sizes are linked to academic achievement.
A school district's course of action is narrowing.
We've been lucky enough to have reserves and some fund balance, but we have depleted them over the last 3 to 5 years. And we're going to really continue to deplete them for the next 2. But we cannot maintain what we have right now without program cuts.
So there really aren't options out there that are long-term solutions other than continuing to reduce programs, which at some point, what does that do to our children's education?
Besides the districts themselves, the GEA also affects programs and services offered through Ulster BOCES.
And it's kind of a shame because as a service agency, we're about consolidating and having an efficiency model because of the scale. We're able to do things on a broader scale than any individual district. And so their inability to do business with us because of the lack of resources just exacerbates the problems. It forces them into a more inefficient model of service delivery.
School officials also warn residents to watch the political spin, especially when it comes to discussing education in this year's state budget.
The governor says, I'm increasing school funding. He's reducing the level of decrease, and he calls that an increase. We're not even close to where we should have been in terms of funding by the formula that the court set out in 2007. So to kind of misuse words, but he's the governor and he has a public audience and he convinces people that he's increasing spending. He's increasing spending by, he said if the legislature enacts my reform program, I'll give the schools an additional $1.7 billion. That's not even part of the agenda. I mean, that's money that we should have had anyway. He's giving us back the money that he took away.
School officials are now asking for your help and urge residents to be vocal and to help put pressure on the governor.
The reality is we don't have anywhere else to go. And we want our public to say to the legislators, because we've said it to the legislators every year, give us our GEA back, eliminate the GEA, eliminate the GEA. It's still there. We're hoping if the voice is loud enough, and from parents and taxpayers and voters, education is the greatest investment anybody can make. Investing in the child's future is the greatest investment because it solidifies our futures as adults. To not invest in that makes little or no sense.